Boss 351. He is the original owner of the car. The second owner, Fred, is just behind us. So, why did you buy it when you came out of the military?
Yeah, when I was in the military, a friend of mine had a car magazine. On the cover was a picture of a purple Boss 351. Ford's new box. So I had that magazine, I got it from him. When I got out, I went to the Ford dealer and I said, I want a Boss 351 that looks just like this. And he looked in the book and they don't have purple.
That's a problem.
So, okay, I said, well, where'd this one come from? He said, that's something the factory probably did. So I decided to get a grabber blue Boss 351. So I just proceeded to order it and waited quite a while for the car. And I was afraid it wouldn't come, but it came. And I ordered the car with flat black trim. And the car showed up with flat gray. And I questioned it, and they called the factory, and they said, if you look closer in your book to order cars, that color only comes with flat gray. So I said, I love it anyway, and I took it. So that's pretty much the story why I bought it. I just fell in love with that car on the cover of that magazine.
So, do you know how many miles are on it currently?
A little over 40,000. I put about 40,000. I think it was 40,655 when Fred bought it. It might have 41 or 42 on it now.
So it's been driven a couple thousand miles.
Yeah.
So, once you got out of the military and you had the car for a while, tell us, you know, did you do anything to it? Is it modified? How did you ever take it racing, etc.?
One time I bought a set of traction bars for it.
Okay.
And a buddy of mine would put up in the lift, and we realized there's a rear sway bar that had to be disconnected to put the traction bars on. So the traction bars never went on because I didn't want to disconnect the sway bar. So we just put it back together, sold the traction bars to somebody. That being said, I never raced anybody in this car. I never abused the car. I always took good care of it. It rarely ever spent a night outside, and it never was really out in snow and salt. And I think I attribute that to the great paint on the car. Always garage.
Speaking of how in good condition it is, so if we pan over, you can go around the car real quick and show them how good condition it is.
So, for some of the things for people that are looking at this as a collector's car, you're going to see these interesting things like the jack usage, storage. You have the space saver spare. I mean, original carpet.
That's the wind and water sticker that very few cars have.
Yep. So those are things that show that this car is an absolute survivor and is all original. And as far as originality goes, is that the tires, brakes, like what's the deal with that? Because of safety.
Brake pads also.
Original brake pads, folks. You hear that?
Original rear brakes too.
Wow.
That's the original whole exhaust system is original.
Okay.
And the mufflers are still silver after all these years.
Does it sound good? I haven't really heard that.
It has a great sound. It's not real loud. It just has that deep throaty sound that you love. But it's not so loud that it annoyed you when you were driving it.
Yeah.
Approximately,
So now
approximately 48 years.
48 years. Now, how did Fred get involved in this situation? How did he come about finding the car, and how did you guys come about coming up with the deal with it?
That's a funny story. Fred was a young boy, 13, 14, came to my house with his father. And I showed Fred the car, and Fred loved the car. And he said to me sort of like, Mister, I'd like to buy that car off you someday. And I said, maybe you could. You know, I never had any intention of selling the car. But I really like Fred, and Fred kept in touch with me our whole life.
That's awesome.
It's very, very cool.
Because he used to, like, he'd call me and ask me, you know, about the car. And I said, listen, Fred, I said, if you don't buy it, I'm going to die with it. So that's the story with Fred, you know. And one day, I gave him a really good price. I was offered a whole lot more for the car. Wasn't interested in selling to anybody but Fred. He was the only person in this world that could have bought that car from me.
Wow.
And the story is, if he ever wants to sell it, he has to sell it back to me.
Okay. All right. I've met a couple people like that. They say if you ever sell this car.
That was the stipulation of me selling him this car. And I didn't want him to go to some nitwit that was going to abuse it.
Yeah.
So it's got to come back to me if he wants to sell it.
When did you guys exchange money and title for it?
Around 2019. Could have been 18, but I'm not even sure.
So it's been pretty recent.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Very good.
Alright, so I'm here with Fred, the current owner of the Boss 351, and I want to go over like your story of like how you met Fred and got him. Fred was saying you were 13, 13, 14 years old is when you met him, and he showed you the car. So why'd you like fall in love with him at that age?
So most 13, 14-year-olds don't want to work and hang out with their dad, but I was hanging out with my dad that day, and it ended up that we were going to do some work at his house to pick up windows. And when I was there, Pete's like, oh, you should see the car I have. And it was all covered up, and the only thing I did see of it was the PSG sticker on the front. As I looked at the car, I pulled the covers up, I sat in it, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. I'm sitting in an old Mustang, and he said that he wanted new and everything like that. So that's what made me fall in love with this sick big car.
Okay, now, I know Pete said that you got like, hey, when can I buy my car, and like, what was all that about?
So I worked in a local supermarket after, I got the age to be able to work. And he would come into the supermarket that was right down the street from his house. Now, I was the only one who knew about this car. So every time I seen him, I would be, how's my car? Because it was one of those things that I didn't say I want to buy it. I already fast forward to the ownership of it. I somehow I knew it was going to be mine at some point. So I would just say, how's my car? How's my car? He'd take care of it. And so that went on for years. And in my whole adult life, whenever I seen him out in public, I order him and ask him about the car. So it's sort of like a stalker.
Cool. So he was saying like 2019-ish, and he said it was 2018 when you guys made the transaction.
So 2018, October 2018 is when I actually made the buy. So through that course of asking him, how's my car, he did convey to me that, one day, if I ever sell it, you're the only one I would sell it to. Yeah. So I was at least comfortable knowing that, one day I might own it, it might come to fruition. And
the car's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and he decided to sell it in 2015. He said, okay, you want to buy it, if it in 2015, he goes, you can buy it, here's the price. And that lag between 2015 and then, I didn't have the money to buy it. I had a family, kids in school, so it took me 3 years to creatively come up with the money to buy it. So I would buy and sell classic cars, like junky ones, and just make $1,000 profit, buy another car, make $2,000 profit, and I just went back and forth all the way up through to the point where I had the money to buy it. And I came to his house, said October of 2018, I said, Pete, I have your money.
And now it's here at the Hall Ford Nationals. He's displaying the car. We already did a walk around. It's a very clean car, especially for having over 40,000 miles on it. And I think that's it. Thank you for coming in.
Yep, you're welcome.